For years, rent in America felt like a cruel joke. People were working two jobs just to afford a one-bedroom apartment. Landlords kept raising prices, and everyone said the same thing: it'll never come down. But now something strange is happening. All across the country, rents are falling fast, apartments sitting empty, investors panicking, developers canceling projects they once called the future. It's the first time in nearly a decade that the market is blinking red. Not for buyers, but for landlords. And behind the numbers, there are stories of people finally catching a break, and others losing everything they built. So today we're going city by city to uncover 10 US cities where rent is collapsing fast, and what this shift really says about America's housing dream. Because when rent starts to fall, it's never just about rent. It's about people, power, and what happens when a system built on growth suddenly starts to shrink. Number 10, Tampa, Florida. A few years ago, Tampa was the new gold rush. Investors were calling it the next Miami. Every empty parking lot was turning into a luxury apartment building. People were moving in from New York, Chicago, and California, chasing sunshine, no income tax, and affordable housing. Except that affordability didn't last. From 2020 to 2023, rents in Tampa jumped nearly 40%, one of the steepest climbs in the nation. A one-bedroom apartment that cost $1,200 was suddenly $1,800. The city was booming, but locals couldn't keep up. Teachers, nurses, even first responders, many were priced out of their own neighborhoods. Then came 2024. Construction didn't stop even as demand started cooling. Thousands of new high-end apartments hit the market at the same time, and suddenly there were more empty units than renters who could afford them. Now, in 2025, that same luxury apartment that went for $2,400, it's down to $1,900 with 1-month free rent banners fluttering in the Florida wind. Developers call it a temporary correction, but for renters, it feels like revenge, payback for years of being squeezed. Even property managers are desperate. Some are offering free parking, free gym memberships, even Amazon gift cards just to fill units. And when you talk to people on the ground, there's a strange mix of relief and fear. Relief that prices are finally dropping. Fear that it might mean something bigger, a cooling economy, or the end of Florida's post-pandemic boom. Tampa's skyline tells the story perfectly. Glass towers, half filled, construction cranes, now frozen midair. A city that got a little too confident, and now reality is catching up. Tampa's fall isn't just about rent. It's about a lesson every city is about to learn. What goes up can, and eventually will, come down. And as we move to city number 9, that lesson only gets louder. Number 9, Austin, Texas. If there was ever a city that believed it could do no wrong, it was Austin. For years, the slogan wasn't just "Keep Austin Weird." It might as well have been "Keep Austin Winning," because everything here from tech to tacos seemed unstoppable. Tesla moved in, Google expanded, startups flooded downtown. People from California were arriving so fast that locals joked, "We should start taxing U-Hauls." But beneath that boom, something started cracking. Between 2019 and 2023, Austin's rent prices soared nearly 60%. A simple apartment in South Lamar that once rented for $1,200 was suddenly listed for $2,000 or more. Locals couldn't compete with out-of-state buyers and six-figure tech workers. The city that once symbolized opportunity started pushing its own people out. Then the tech layoffs hit. 2024 became the year when Silicon Hills turned into a question mark. Companies started cutting staff. Venture capital dried up. Downtown towers stood half empty, with "for lease" signs stacked like silent warnings. And now, in 2025, rents in Austin have fallen more than 12% from their peak, one of the sharpest drops in the country. Luxury apartments that once had waiting lists are now throwing in 2 months of free rent. Developers who borrowed millions at low interest rates are sweating through high interest debt. It's not just a housing story, it's a reality check. For years, Austin's identity was built on being the next Silicon Valley. But when the tech industry sneezes, Austin catches a fever. Talk to longtime residents, and they'll tell you the magic's still here, but it feels different. The downtown skyline is stunning but quiet. The live music bars still play, but the crowd is thinner. The energy is still alive, but it's cautious. The funny thing? While rents are dropping, it doesn't feel like a celebration, because the same people who were once priced out aren't necessarily coming back. They've moved on to smaller towns or to more stable cities like San Antonio. And what's left is a city caught between two worlds, the boom that made it famous and the bust that's forcing it to grow up. Austin, in many ways, is a mirror of modern America, a place that dreamed too big, borrowed too much, and built too fast, only to realize that even dreams have a rent due date. Number 8, Phoenix, Arizona. There's something haunting about the silence of a desert suburb. You drive through Phoenix today, and you'll see it. Rows of shiny new apartments, brand new pools, empty balconies, and leasing banners promising "move in today." 1 month free. Only a year ago, it was the opposite. Phoenix was one of the hottest rental markets in America. People were leaving California in droves, chasing affordable homes and sunny skies. Developers couldn't build fast enough. Between 2020 and 2023, the metro area added over 35,000 new apartments, the largest construction wave in Phoenix history. But that wave has now crashed. Rent growth here has fallen off a cliff, down nearly 15% in a year. And the problem isn't demand, it's oversupply. When everyone built at once, they forgot one thing: people can't keep moving forever. Now landlords are competing for tenants like it's Black Friday. They're offering rent cuts, no deposits, and free upgrades. Some are even offering gift cards just for touring. And behind those empty windows, you can feel it, that eerie sense that something got overbuilt. For the people living here, it's bittersweet. Yes, rent's finally affordable again, but there's also a quiet worry. If rent is falling this fast, what does it say about jobs, about growth, about the economy? Many locals whisper about 2008, the year Arizona's last housing boom went bust. Phoenix is a city built on resilience. Every time it falls, it rebuilds. But this time feels different because it's not just about bad loans or speculation, it's about exhaustion. People are tired of chasing affordability, tired of fighting inflation, tired of paying more for less. The sun still shines bright over Phoenix, but for many it doesn't feel like paradise anymore. It feels like déjà vu, the calm before another economic storm. As the desert cools, the cracks spread further north. Because next on our list is a city that was once the pride of the Midwest, a place that promised stability, but now stands on shaky ground. Number 7, Minneapolis, Minnesota. A city that wears its charm like a warm winter coat. Lakes, parks, and tree-lined streets that glimmer in summer. It's easy to forget that beneath that beauty, the city's housing market has been quietly unraveling. For decades, Minneapolis was a safe bet. Affordable rents, stable neighborhoods, and steady jobs made it a magnet for young professionals and growing families. The Twin Cities felt like a hidden gem, vibrant enough to keep you entertained, yet calm enough to call home. But over the past few years, cracks began to appear. Between 2021 and 2024, rents skyrocketed 40% in some downtown and uptown neighborhoods. The tech influx and remote work trend initially boosted the market. Everyone wanted a piece of the city's lakeside charm. But soon, the supply couldn't keep up with demand, and affordability became a nightmare for middle-class residents. Then came 2024 layoffs hit the local tech and corporate sectors, slowing the migration of new renters. And as supply caught up with the temporary surge in demand, rents started collapsing, down over 10% in prime areas. Empty apartment signs became common. Leasing offices offered incentives that had been unheard of just a year prior. Neighborhoods that once thrived with cafes and boutiques began to feel quiet. It's not desolation, but the hum of life has dimmed. People talk about moving to the suburbs or even leaving Minnesota entirely for warmer, more economically stable states. But here's what makes Minneapolis unique. It's a story of contrasts. In South Minneapolis, lakes and parks still offer natural beauty that's hard to replicate. Downtown, office towers glisten under the city lights, proud and imposing. Yet behind these symbols of prosperity, renters are struggling. Families who once called the city home are moving to suburbs like Bloomington or Eagan, chasing stability over allure. The housing collapse here isn't just numbers, it's human stories. Single parents worried about affording their apartment after a colleague loses a job. College graduates who can't find affordable studios and are forced back in with family. Long-term residents watching their beloved neighborhoods slowly change as new renters come and go. Minneapolis, for all its lakes and parks, has become a reflection of a larger truth. Cities, no matter how charming, are fragile. When the balance between supply, demand, and economic stability tips, lives are affected in very real, very personal ways. Number 6, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Here, the collapse isn't subtle. You can see it in abandoned storefronts, vacant apartments, and the slow retreat of longtime residents. Philadelphia was once a city of opportunity, but rising costs, crime perception, and economic stagnation have left it teetering. Between 2023 and 2025, rents fell sharply in several neighborhoods, some areas experiencing declines of 12 to 15%, a dramatic shift for a city of its size. The story of Philly is layered with history and heartbreak. Historic neighborhoods, once bustling, now have for-lease signs on main streets. Millennials and Gen Z, burdened by student debt, are priced out. Families are choosing safer, more affordable suburbs in New Jersey or Delaware. Yet, like Minneapolis, Philly's character hasn't disappeared. Its cultural institutions, universities, and local charm endure. But the city is learning a hard lesson. Economic vibrancy and affordability must go hand in hand, or even the most historic cities can falter. Number 5, Detroit, Michigan. Detroit's story is not just about abandoned factories or declining populations. It's about the people who stayed, fought, and rebuilt. Once the thriving hub of the automotive industry, the city drew workers from across the nation. But as plants closed and jobs vanished, neighborhoods were left struggling. Rents have started to soften, with some areas seeing a 6 to 8% decline over the last year, signaling a city still grappling with the aftermath of decades-long economic decline. Walk through neighborhoods like Brightmoor or East Side, and you see more than empty streets. You see community gardens cultivated by locals trying to reclaim spaces abandoned by time and economy. Local cafes and small businesses are battling vacancies and reduced foot traffic, creating a palpable sense of anxiety among residents. Families moving out are not just leaving homes, they're leaving memories, schools, and neighbors behind. Many relocate to Oakland County or Ann Arbor, drawn by safety, employment opportunities, and better schools. Yet those who remain embody resilience. Artists transforming abandoned buildings into studios, young entrepreneurs opening food trucks, and retired citizens volunteering to mentor the youth. Detroit's decline is measured in numbers, but its heart beats in the stories of struggle, survival, and hope. Even with a softer rental market, the city is a living narrative of rebirth amid adversity. Number 4, Miami, Florida. Miami's neon glamour often hides the subtle cracks beneath the surface. While tourists see beaches and nightlife, locals face the reality of a rental market cooling sharply. South Beach, Brickell, and Wynwood have experienced 9 to 11% drops in rent, pushing residents to rethink where they live. The effects ripple through the community. Young professionals, once drawn by Miami's vibrant urban lifestyle, are relocating to Tampa, Orlando, or Jacksonville, chasing affordability and stability. Families who invested in rental properties are confronting vacancies, reduced income, and increased stress. Even retirees drawn by sun and culture must navigate a shifting housing landscape. Yet Miami's charm remains in its cultural mosaic, music, and street life. Street vendors still sell pastel-colored pastries. Local artists create murals that tell decades of history. And the ocean's waves remind residents why they came in the first place. The city is not dying. It's restructuring, recalibrating, and demanding resilience. In Wynwood, empty storefronts tell one story, but community murals tell another. The city's rental decline is both a challenge and an opportunity. Lower rents may draw new creatives, remote workers, and entrepreneurs looking for a foothold in an evolving metropolis. Miami is changing, but its soul remains vibrant. Number 3, Denver, Colorado. Denver's rise over the past decade has been meteoric, fueled by tech, startups, and outdoor lifestyle allure. But as the city matures, the rental market reflects a plateau. Neighborhoods like Lodo, Capitol Hill, and Cherry Creek have seen 7 to 10% declines, impacting both renters and property owners. Families feel it acutely. Parents weigh costs against quality schools, commuting times, and neighborhood safety. Young renters face tough choices. Do they stay in the city for work and lifestyle, or move to Salt Lake City or Austin where rent is more manageable? The human stories are compelling. Roommates splitting apartments across the city, couples delaying marriage or children because of costs, and seniors downsizing from homes they've lived in for decades. The streets of Denver reflect both hope and caution. Coffee shops remain hubs of connection, but some local businesses have shuttered, unable to maintain high rents. The city's mountain backdrop serves as a reminder that life continues, even amid economic adjustments. Parks and hiking trails are full of people seeking solace from financial stress, while urban development projects slow, awaiting market stabilization. Denver's rental decline is more than numbers. It's a reshaping of community, priorities, and dreams. Every empty apartment has a story of someone seeking better opportunities, and every bustling cafe shows resilience. Number 2, Seattle, Washington. Seattle has long symbolized opportunity, innovation, and culture. But the city now faces the consequences of rapid growth. High-demand neighborhoods like Capitol Hill, Queen Anne, and Ballard have seen 5 to 9% declines in rent, causing residents to look beyond the city limits for affordable living. The human impact is visible: tech workers leaving for Boise or Portland, families seeking larger homes and safer communities, and local businesses adjusting to reduced patronage. The cityscape changes subtly. Empty tables on Pike Place Market, quieter streets around tech campuses, and a sense of cautious optimism mingled with frustration. Seattle's charm, its waterfront, music scene, and green spaces endures, but the rental decline forces a hard reality. Even prosperous cities can experience correction. Homelessness remains a challenge, and affordability drives tension between growth and livability. Families and young professionals make difficult decisions, balancing career opportunities with quality of life. Despite challenges, Seattle is a city of resilience. Community initiatives, neighborhood groups, and cultural organizations continue to thrive, proving that economic shifts don't erase a city's spirit. Seattle's story is one of adaptation, recalibration, and survival. Number 1, New York City. New York. New York City is synonymous with energy, opportunity, and ambition. But the city's rental market is signaling a shift. Manhattan, Brooklyn, and Queens have seen reductions of 10 to 12%, prompting many residents to seek alternatives in New Jersey, upstate New York, or even states like Florida and Texas. The human impact is striking. Families pack up brownstones and apartments, young professionals leave iconic lofts, and neighborhoods feel quieter after decades of relentless activity. Restaurants see lower attendance, shops notice reduced foot traffic, and cultural venues adjust schedules to match the new reality. Yet New York's soul endures. Street performers, vibrant markets, and the hum of city life remind everyone that the city never truly sleeps. The decline in rent reflects economic realities, not the death of ambition or culture. The city's story is complex, layered, and deeply human, a mix of struggle, adaptation, and resilience. Even as rents soften, New Yorkers innovate. Shared workspaces, co-living arrangements, and small-scale entrepreneurial ventures blossom, ensuring that the Big Apple continues to pulse with life, energy, and hope. Why rents are collapsing. To understand the city stories fully, we must look at the underlying reasons behind falling rents. 1. Economic shifts, tech layoffs, reduced corporate hiring, and remote work flexibility are changing where people live. Cities that once boomed because of a single industry are now recalibrating. 2. Migration trends. Young professionals, retirees, and families alike are seeking affordability, safety, and quality of life, creating waves of relocation. 3. Pandemic. After effects. Cities that overbuilt during the pandemic now face vacancies, leaving landlords and property managers scrambling. 4. Cost of living pressure. High taxes, expensive utilities, and rising living costs push residents to seek greener pastures, often outside major metros. These factors combine, creating dramatic human consequences, affecting everything from local businesses to schools, from public transit systems to healthcare access. The impact on local businesses. As residents leave or rent prices decline, businesses feel it immediately. Cafes, restaurants, boutique shops, and gyms, once thriving in dense, vibrant neighborhoods, see fewer customers. Some shut down permanently, others adapt. In Detroit, small restaurants pivot to delivery and takeout to survive. In Denver, boutique stores transform into co-working spaces to attract the freelance crowd. These shifts demonstrate a city in flux, where human ingenuity meets economic reality. Experts' insights. Experts are watching these trends closely. Economists note that cities experiencing falling rents are not necessarily dying, they are evolving. Urban development specialist Dr. Lauren Mitchell explains, falling rents create opportunities for younger residents, remote workers, and entrepreneurs to enter neighborhoods that were previously unaffordable. It's painful for some, but it fosters long-term growth and innovation. Housing analyst Thomas Rivera adds, "We're seeing a correction in markets that overexpanded. Cities are recalibrating, which is essential for sustainable growth." These insights reinforce that while the headlines are dramatic, the underlying forces are economic cycles, migration patterns, and human choices. Lessons for viewers. For anyone watching this video, whether a renter, homeowner, or investor, these trends are crucial to understand. 1. Opportunities in declining rent cities. Lower rents can be a chance for investment, home ownership, or a better quality of life. 2. Migration planning. Families can strategically relocate to balance affordability, safety, and amenities. 3. Community impact. Participating in local initiatives can help stabilize neighborhoods, even during economic shifts. 4. Stay informed. Trends like these are dynamic. Following city reports, housing indexes, and migration studies can guide smart decisions. Humanizing the numbers. Statistics tell a story, but the people behind them give it heart. A young software engineer moving from Seattle to Boise, a retired couple downsizing in New York, a single mom seeking safer neighborhoods in Miami. All of these experiences are part of a broader American narrative of change, resilience, and hope. Looking ahead. While rents may continue to decline in some cities, history shows that markets and communities adapt. Cities evolve, industries shift, and people find ways to thrive. This is the story of America in motion: economic realities, human adaptation, and relentless hope. Even when headlines scream of collapse or decline, the human element, families, businesses, and communities remains the heartbeat of each city. As we wrap up, remember, behind every number, every falling rent, every empty apartment, there are real people making tough choices. Families seeking safety, young professionals chasing opportunity, retirees looking for peace and affordability. Cities aren't just statistics, they are stories, hearts, and lives in motion. Some cities are collapsing fast, yes, but every collapse brings change. Every challenge creates opportunity. Whether you're thinking about moving, investing, or simply understanding the pulse of America, these trends matter. So, what will you do with this knowledge? Will you adapt, explore, and find your place in a shifting landscape, or will you watch as the cities around you evolve? The choice, like always, is yours. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe for more insights, and share your thoughts in the comments, because your story is part of this bigger American story.